Welcome to the topic where we highlight Houston Community College, our students, our programs, and our reach into the community. I'm Dr. Darin Baskin, the Executive Director for the Weekend and Honors College here at HCC. We're here every Thursday afternoon when HCC is in session. We are live at 2 p.m. on Facebook and YouTube, and we want everyone to follow us on social media as Houston Community College District and watch us on HCC TV via your local cable provider. Houston Community College is always seeking better ways to serve our students. One tool that we have in our arsenal that can affect student success is our Quality Enhancement Plan, or what we like to call it, our QEP. We'll be taking a deep dive into the QEP today, starting with an overview from our newly hired QEP director, Mr. Jeremy Estrella. Welcome to the show, Jeremy.
Thank you, Dr. Baskin.
Hey, it's good to see you again. And just so everybody knows, Jeremy is brand new to the institution. He has come in and he has planted his feet and he is ready to go. So Jeremy, just give us a quick overview of who you are.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Baskin. So my name is Jeremy Estrella. I'm the QEP, Quality Enhancement Plan Director here at HCC. Started here at HCC back in April of this year, April 1st. It's been a wonderful experience. I've been in higher ed, specifically the community college level, for the last 20 years. I started out as a part-time instructor, and then I moved on to a full-time instructor. Then I was in administration for about 6 years or so, and then made a move to Houston, and really lucky to be here at Houston Community College, continuing the good work that y'all are doing here of supporting students, all of our students here in the Houston metro area and beyond.
All right, hey, that's great. And I think all of your experiences, everything that you've done within higher ed has prepared you for the task of driving the Quality Enhancement Plan here at HCC. So happy to have you on board. Happy to know that it was left in good hands. So great job so far. Now, let's just jump right into it. Give us the big picture overview of the QEP and why it's so important to the institution.
Yeah, so the QEP is an accreditation requirement according to SACS COC. It's a really long acronym that stands for Southern Association of Colleges and Schools, Commission on Colleges. And so it's a 5-year process. And throughout that process, there's different steps. So I stepped in at year 3, and I do have to give a lot of credit to you, Dr. Baskin, for the previous 3 years, for identifying the topic of personalized learning, for doing professional development, for helping to get the tool off the ground. So really laid a great foundation for the work that I'm doing right now, which is implementing what was laid before me with this QEP. So since it's an accreditation requirement, it means we have to do it. And at the same time, we can leverage it to really focus on what we want to put some energy behind, what we want to put some resources behind. And it's about enhancing something that's already happening here at HCC. So personalized learning is already happening. How can we really do a targeted approach to support that in the classroom, in advising, in tutoring, in library services, student support, so that students we're improving their outcomes. We're improving their learning outcomes, so they're more equipped to be able to make wise decisions about their education and about their academic plan, as well as students are able to, we're able to retain our students. So if we could provide that wraparound support, and we know about our students a little bit more, which is the purpose of personalized learning. We get to know our students a little bit more, then we're able to provide that support and keep students here and then help them complete, help them in their goals, help them to transfer to earn a degree, a credential, whatever it may be. We're able to provide that kind of unique, individualized, personalized support to students. And that's what the QEP is all about.
Great. And you know, you did a great explanation. And I think it's always important. And you did something that I tell all the guests that come on. Whenever we use an acronym, we should always make sure that we tell everyone what that acronym stands for. So you hit that right on the nail. And I also want to say, I think the term you use, we need to leverage it to be better, to do better. I think that is the perfect segue into what the QEP is and how it's going to impact the institution. So kudos on that. So there's 4 major areas of the QEP. You have your student advising and engagement, you have your faculty and staff development, you have your data systems integration, and then you have your targeted interventions. Let's jump into a couple of these because I think the two that I know are probably the most important to the work that we're doing currently will be the student advising and engagement, and then the targeted intervention. So let's talk about those two. Let's talk about student engagement and advising.
Yeah, so the idea is, and I know we're going to talk about the My HCC pathway tool in just a bit.
Well, bring it into the conversation.
Okay, let's bring it in right now. Absolutely. So the My HCC pathway tool, and I have the really beautiful logo here on my t-shirt. That is the tool that we are using. So it's the intervention to accomplish our goals, to learn more about our students so we can provide that tailored, customized support to students and in-time support as well. So students fill out questions, fill out answers to questions in a questionnaire. And these questions are to get at a better understanding of our students. Why are they here at HCC? What are they trying to accomplish? What are their goals? As well as what are some of their potential challenges? And so the idea is if we could gather that information about our students when we are advising them, and advising goes beyond the traditional role of an advisor. I mean, it's happening in the classroom, it's happening with others at HCC, that individual is able to go into that tool, get a snapshot of the student, learn a little bit about the student, understand why they're with us and what they're trying to accomplish, and then can provide the kind of support about what classes they need to take, what the schedule of those classes look like, as well as if they say there's a challenge, maybe with financial support, then we can intervene and we can provide that support and have them go to financial aid to learn about FAFSA, learn about scholarships. But we wouldn't know this information if we didn't ask these questions ahead of time. So with this information, we're better equipped to advise students and to support students.
And again, I think you're really hitting the nail on the head, because I think one of the things that we take for granted at all institutions is the amount of data we can collect from doing different pieces and adding different components to what the college is already doing. And I think the My HCC pathway is also another tool to be able to take that data and be able to use it in a positive way to ensure the success of our students. So I think the connection that you're making between this holistic approach to student engagement and student advising, and then integrating in those targeted interventions, I think is a seamless transition. And I think the My HCC pathway is definitely what that's going to do. And again, I see you have your swag on. You're looking swagalicious over there. So, looks good. See, that's what I'm talking about. We have to make sure that everyone knows what the My HCC pathway is. And just give us about 10 seconds of why it's important for students to log into the My HCC pathway.
Yeah, so that we can learn more about our students. So that anyone who's working with the student doesn't have to start from scratch. They could go in there and they could see what the student said in their questionnaire, as well as they could see who else worked with that student. So if they work with tutoring or faculty or advising, they could go in there and just pick up from where that last support person left off and help the student from there on out. So the student doesn't have to keep retelling their story over and over again.
I think you just hit it. Not having to retell their story to everyone they come into contact with. So listen, we're going to bring Jeremy back in segment 3. When we come back, we'll get a boots on the ground perspective on the QEP.
At Houston Community College, we make your lessons matter. Open the door to real-world education, where passions become careers. Find out more at hccs.edu. and let your success take flight.
For more than a year, we have kept you informed with more than 500 remote episodes. But now we're back, bigger and better, with more news and more guests. Join us live every weekday at 10 a.m. on Facebook and YouTube, and on HCC TV at noon and 5 p.m. You can watch from anywhere. We go where you go.
Welcome back to the topic where we have been discussing one of my favorite topics to talk about, which is the Quality Enhancement Plan, or the QEP, which is what we like to call it. We are now being joined by, I gotta say this, one of my favorite people at the college, Dr. Kimberly Koledoye, who is one of our amazing professors for academic student success, and she also serves as the program coordinator for academic student success, and my friend Amanda Guerrero, who is the director of instructional support with Tutoring Services. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.
Thank you, Darin.
Yes. So let's just jump right into this. Dr. Koledoye, we ended the last segment talking about the MyHCC pathway. This is the tool that I know for a fact was integrated into the EDUC 1300 curriculum. So happy about that. That made me so happy. Tell us how you can use that curriculum and how it's been impacting students in EDUC 1300, which are actually the students that are being impacted across the district.
Well, in the spring, several of our EDUC 1300 learning framework courses were fortunate enough to be a part of the pilot. And during this pilot, we designed 2 assignments that help students create clearer paths to degree completion. And the tool helped inform the development of those assignments. In our courses, we have always had students map out their degree plans, but using the HCC pathway tool has allowed this to become a more collaborative process between students and faculty.
That's amazing. And, you know, I love the word collaborative because it shows that we have the ability to work with others and to work well with others. And so it creates a very good relationship between the faculty and the student, especially Jeremy mentioned the student doesn't have to retell their story. And I think that's important. And I think I'm gonna have him to keep saying that because I think that's a good way to explain what the MyHCC pathway can actually do for students and for staff. So what were some of the challenges and what was some of the feedback that you've gotten from students and faculty actually?
Well, we found that students were overall just very encouraged to have an opportunity to discuss topics other than just coursework with their faculty. Using this tool has helped students see that faculty and staff here at HCC are really concerned with students' overall growth as they matriculate through our system. However, some students did express an interest of having a better understanding of what the tool actually is, because as it stands now, I'm sorry?
No, you're good.
Oh, okay. So as it stands now, students somehow stumble into the questionnaire. And a lot of times students have no idea what the questionnaire is, where this information will go and how it will be used. So we think that students just need more information about the tool. And I think this can easily be remedied by infusing some videos and some descriptions to help students understand. Furthermore, students would like to see the tool integrated into Canvas or MyEagle because students are just more accustomed to using those systems. And so we think that if we can accomplish either of those, I think it will definitely increase the accessibility of the tool to students and just the overall engagement with the tool.
Oh, that's amazing. And I think you're right. I think put it in a place where students are used to seeing that tool and using that platform, I think is very important. And I also think that just having this type of feedback is important for the QEP and the MyHCC pathway to be able to move forward. So I'm glad you're working on it. You with your instructional background and your program coordinator knowledge, I think it's going to work out perfectly because you have the pedigree for it. So, hey, thank you. And thank all the faculty in EDUC 1300 for piloting it and getting us off to a great start.
Thank you, Darin. We are looking forward to our continued work with this program, and we know that it's going to be a success.
Oh, it definitely is because the EDUC faculty are in it. Now, Amanda. Hello, Amanda. So let me tell you guys a quick story. So I met Amanda so many years ago, and when I met her, we met outside of what was soon to be her new emporium, learning emporium, and we were eating food, which is one of my favorite things to do. And Amanda was like, this food is so good. And it came from one of our caterers. And that's how me and Amanda met. I still remember that. Hey, Amanda.
Hey, Darin. Thank you so much for having me today.
Oh, I'm so happy. So let's jump into you and your program. And how is Tutoring Services integrated into my HCC pathway and what is provided?
So the wonderful thing about the QEP and the work that Jeremy is doing is he's pulling all of the right people to the table with the My HCC pathway work. What I mean by that is the individuals who would form like a team in order to support our students as they progress forward. This is a wonderful tool that is put into place to bridge communication between faculty to student to tutoring, tutoring to faculty, and so on and so forth. So it's a really exciting direction that we're going to aid in student success, completion, retention. And just earlier this week, I received a list of students who had expressed that they would like more information on tutoring. And if you know me well enough, you know I wanted a phone. So I just got a phone installed and I started calling them, trying to invite them to come on out for tutoring. But I wouldn't have known that these particular students had needed that had they not indicated so in that survey tool that they filled out through the My HCC pathway. So this is, we're in the infancy stages of forming this, and I can't wait to see what it's going to end up turning into and how it's going to be so comprehensive as a tool that really helps our students.
And I think you jumped right into my next question, which was going to be, have you identified and provided support for students? And me knowing you, I know you have, because your passion and your drive and your love for tutoring has totally elevated the college, even with the work that you did to get us nationally accredited as a tutoring center. So that work is amazing. So I know the passion that you have, and I know you're going to make it work. So what type of support do you think the tutoring services is going to be able to provide students that log in?
Well, it'll quickly connect the students to the resource, right? And that's where the magic happens. Then from there, the actual tutors and the tutoring session, you know, I always believe that our tutors are our unsung heroes. They're the ones that are willing to roll up their sleeves and sit side by side with our students and really get down, peel back the layers of the onion of where the student is struggling and how we can come in and assist them. So this being that connective tool that it's kind of like the ligaments in a body system that gets the student to the right area. It's good. It's gonna really help our entire retention strategy.
And, you know, it's also going to have a boomerang effect, because once we have more students participating in tutoring services, that's going to offer more opportunities for our students to find part-time jobs that would then help them in some of their financial woes as well. So this is like this boomerang effect that I just love to hear about. I think it's amazing. I love the fact that tutoring has been looped in, even though, like you said, it's in its infancy phase. I know that you're all in, 10 toes in, and, you know, I know Jeremy appreciates that, and I know our students are going to appreciate it even more. So Amanda, thank you for joining us. Dr. Koledoye, thank you for joining us. And when we return, we learn why the QEP isn't just about students.
At Houston Community College, we make your lessons matter. Open the door to real-world education, where passions become careers. Find out more at hccs.edu and let your success take flight.
When I was your age, I was just like you, fascinated by stars. But now I get to search for life in the universe. And who knows, maybe life is looking for us too.
So we're like aliens to them?
Yeah. Does anyone want to be a scientist now?
I do.
Awesome. We need more girls in STEM.
Maybe we can find aliens.
Things could be stranger, but I don't know how. I'm going through changes, through all of the strangeness. I'm going through changes now.
Welcome back to the topic. Today we're discussing the Quality Enhancement Plan, or again, like we like to call it, the QEP. And we are back with Jeremy. Jeremy is the director of the QEP. Listen, we were talking earlier and we were talking about those 4 key points. And I said, we're going to talk about 2 of them and then we're going to capture the other 2 later on. This is later on. One of them was professional development. So I know that there's a great professional development plan in place. So give us an overview of part of that, which is the peer mentoring model and its implementation into the Quality Enhancement Plan.
Yeah, thank you. I like how you brought back that item. Definitely. So we're implementing a peer mentoring to a train-to-trainer model. So what we're starting with are those key departments that touch the MyHCC pathway and support students in that holistic student support. So what I'm talking about are tutoring, advising, financial aid, career services, testing, libraries, of course, faculty and instruction, and counseling. And so we identified a champion from each one of these areas. And what they're doing is they're going to be designing and developing and delivering training around the MyHCC pathway tool, the functionalities of it, as well as how their department, the people they're working with, can use it to better support students, to better support that student to advisor interaction or student to faculty interaction. And so the idea is it's contextualized, and these are the experts. By no means could I do this training for all these individuals here. I'm not an advisor or tutor. I don't have that background, but they absolutely can. And they also have some really great best practices and some trainings they've done themselves. So they were able to just hit the ground running and start to design and develop these trainings. And we launched it just a couple of weeks ago. And the peer mentors are putting together their plans right now, and they're going to be delivering them to their departments within the next month or so.
Oh, wow, Trevor, that's amazing. Research tells us that any form of peer-to-peer or teacher versus teacher, those type of training models are the most successful form of training. When you are being trained by your peer who understands it, you see that trainer in a different way. So kudos on the peer-to-peer training model. I think this is great. And so just tell us, what are some of the benefits of having this peer mentoring for faculty development, faculty and staff development?
Yeah, so there's already a lot of really great materials out there from faculty and staff where they have created trainings and they have focused on student belonging. They focused on personalized support. They've given these trainings already, so they are the experts. And so we're tapping into that expertise, and they're able to, like I said, contextualize it and talk the talk to their colleagues around what this means. So an advisor could explain it in advising terms to other advisors, for example. Testing could explain it in testing terms to other people in their department, other people in testing. And so that's definitely a benefit of that, is where we're tapping into the human capital piece here at HCC, all the wonderful faculty and staff we have who are really doing great work. We're able to identify them and we're able to elevate them and bring them into a leadership role as well, where they're serving as leaders for their departments and talking about these practices that help support students and utilizing the QEP and the MyHCC pathway tool as that instrument to do so, as a mechanism to help improve and help enhance that interaction between them and the student, because they have all that information about the student in the tool and they're able to use that to support the student better.
Hey, another great explanation. I think, one of the biggest obstacles of an institution the size that we're currently in is communication. And I think having those champions within those departments and within those divisions to go back to be the voice of the MyHCC pathway is the best model you can take, because you're getting the information from one of your peers, which it lands a lot better. So can you share with us a success story from a faculty who has undergone the training, faculty or staff, because I do know that staff have been trained also?
Yeah, so this peer mentoring model, like I mentioned, has just launched recently. So we don't have any information right now about the current group. However, professional development has been an integral part of the QEP since the very beginning. And I know Dr. Baskin, yourself, you led some professional development with the QEP, and we did some focus groups with those faculty. And here's a few things that they had to say. They appreciate the convenience of being able to review the questionnaire responses and schedule appointments for the services needed within the platform for the students. It was providing a great one-on-one opportunity with students and the faculty member, and they like the privacy of communication, and they're able to talk to their colleagues around this. So we had EDUC faculty, I think we had about 15 of them in the room, where they've gone through the training with you beforehand, getting prepared for the pilot, where we did a pilot in the spring, and they were able to share with one another, how this worked, and also provide some feedback on best practices and what worked for them when they were utilizing the tool. And so it was a really great experience to hear what was going well as get some critical feedback of where we need to pivot or where we need to do some improvements, like making it more user-friendly, the pathway. So we're working on that. So it was really great.
Oh yeah, I think you're absolutely correct. I mean, getting that critical feedback and just knowing what works and what doesn't work is the best way to move this platform forward. If we're only getting the positive feedback, then we don't know what's happening on the opposite side of that. And so I like that you guys are having those face-to-face meetings. And I know you're also meeting with students as well. So I just don't want to say it's faculty, because you're meeting with students and you're meeting with staff as well. And so I will say one of the stories that I just rings in my head, we had a office manager who completed the training. She said that this was the best training she's ever had at Houston Community College, and she had never been in the room training with faculty. And that right there set the tone for the training moving forward. So kudos on the training. And so in about 45 seconds or so, what are your plans for expanding the peer mentoring model?
Yeah, so the plan is, well, it's going to be over the course of the year. So this fall, they're designing and they're developing, and they're going to be sharing their plans with one another. So we have that coming up in about a week, where each one of these individuals from each one of these departments are going to share out their training plan. And then they're going to be delivering it towards in the fall into spring term. But what we're going to do is create a train-a-trainer model. So they're going to be identifying someone in their department who could take it over for them. Because as you know, with an institution like HCC, people leave, people get promoted. So we want to make sure it continues on. So they're going to be identifying someone, as well as we're going to be taking each one of these individuals, their materials, to help create a Canvas shell. And so we want to make it more accessible to the general public. And so that information is going to be put into a Canvas shell to really show how all these pieces work together, how tutoring, advising, financial aid, career services, instruction, how they all work hand in hand to support the student. And that's going to be a part of hopefully new employee onboarding for the employee experience here at HCC.
Hey, I think you capitalized on every aspect of integrating it into our institutional culture. So congratulations, Jeremy. Again, welcome to HCC. I'm glad you decided to come with us. We're happy to have you. To everyone else, thank you for joining us on the topic. If you enjoyed the show, follow us on Facebook and YouTube as Houston Community College District to listen to the topic and more HCC TV programming. Visit hccs.edu/podcast for the topic on HCC. I'm Dr. Darin Baskin. Until next time.
Hey, Bobo, do trees tell each other stories?
I'm sorry. I'm afraid I don't know that.
Hey, why don't we go find out? Listen.
If you love them enough to do this, surely you'll check NHTSA.gov/the right seat to make sure they're in the right car seat.